first of all, I want to talk about a story that's really, really concerning. I know it's concerning you as well. And it's one of those things that so many people have seen and experienced themselves. Lots of people I know who watch and listen to this programme work in the retail industry, work in places where they sell goods, and you will have seen on so many different occasions people brazenly just lifting things, shoplifting, and barely being slapped on the wrist, not even that, police often not turning up, and of course this is a huge problem. Some of the statistics and figures around this are really quite astonishing as well. From the 12 months of September last year, incidents of customer theft reported by retailers rose by 3.7 million to 20.4 million, costing retailers £2 billion. There's this thing called Kamikaze shoplifting as well. Offenders openly clearing shelves of items in full view of customers and shop workers. And according to the British Retail Consortium, abuse against shop workers rising by 50%, more than 2,000 incidents recorded on average every single day. Well, let's talk to Stephanie Karte, who is National Operations Manager of Retailers Against Crime. Stephanie, just paint a picture for us about what this is really like for so many retailers who are trying to earn a crust. We're in a cost of living crisis. There are many people who are just trying to get their goods sold and to provide a service to people to make sure that they get groceries or goods that they need. But actually, these shoplifters are just being so incredibly brazen, aren't they?
Yeah, sometimes the shop workers don't actually know what they're going in to deal with on a daily basis. A lot of them are worried when they go to their job, and a lot of them are getting abused on a daily basis.
They're targets for abuse, aren't they? Because they may try to intervene or stop this in some way, but of course there's just this brazen behaviour. Do they feel powerless? Is there much they can really do, Stephanie?
Well, basically, is it worth a life? Stop a shoplifter. What's the price in a human life? You can't even comprehend that. So see if they're going to be in any danger whatsoever, they need to step back. And even so, if that's meaning letting the shoplifter go out of the store because they're safe, they're keeping themselves safe, their other staff safe, and other customers within the store, that is what they should do. However, this is not a problem that's going to go away anytime soon, because as you can see, the figures are on the rise, and they continue to be on the rise year upon year.
Is there any real disincentive here? Is there anything that's telling the shoplifters, no, this is wrong, this is illegal, you'll be caught, you'll be prosecuted? Or are the forces of law and order simply not doing their job, Stephanie? What's your take on that?
I certainly wouldn't say the law isn't doing their job. However, they can only do what they can do with the resources that are there for them. You know, quite a lot of resources have been taken away from them, so they can only go to the calls that they have the officers on the ground to do so. I certainly do think they take violence extremely seriously, and especially when it comes to, acts of violence and, of course, being threatened by weapons.
Yes, and certainly that is on the rise as well. Tell us a little bit about this kamikaze tactic, clearing shelves, often bundling items into containers or large bags and things like that. I mean, it is so incredibly brazen, isn't it?
It's brazen, but it's the way they're going to get in to the shop and get out of it as quick as what they possibly can by using measures which, in theory, will cause alarm to the stores and also cause them to back off, because there's that many of them doing it. The more of the team that tend to do these kind of things, and basically there'll be more of them in the shop than there will be the actual retail worker. You're going to feel a sense of fear when especially they're running into store with big items and basically barging their way past. So yes, this is a new thing that's came in. I can see that obviously, I'm hoping it's not going to continue, but sometimes when you think about it, there's all of these things are increasing as well. It seems to be that the acts of violence is getting worse.
Tell me about what your advice is at the Retailers Against Crime. Tell us what your advice to shop workers and shop management is. How do you see a way to tackle this problem to get these numbers down?
Stay safe. The shopkeepers really need to do that, but you need to keep reporting these instances to the police. The police, therefore, will be able to add them to their incidents. The figures will go up. And then hopefully with the figures going up, then the resources will be given to the police to try and tackle this problem. Because at the moment, there isn't enough boots on the ground, as I mentioned, in order to be everywhere at once.
And the security guards themselves, they themselves have often had huge amounts of abuse as well. The facilities management firm Mighty supplies 10,000 security guards to the UK retail sector. It said 10% of these people were injured in the line of duty in 2024. So even the people whose job it is to keep retailers and indeed customers safe as well, they're facing big problems too, Stephanie.
Unfortunately, it's them that are in the way of the shoplifters getting out of the store with the goods that they require. So unfortunately, it is them that is going to be the target for violent attacks. So yes, that is unfortunately the way of the world at this present moment in time. If the violence is going to increase, the stores are going to need to get security, and unfortunately they're in the line of fire really when the shoplifters are trying to get out of the store, and it's them that's actually causing the problem to the shoplifters, so it's them that are going to be targeted.
And what's your message to the government around this? What can they do? What greater powers? Because it is illegal to steal something. I mean, the law in theory is there already. It's just a matter of it perhaps being enforced.
To be fair, shoplifting is a word that we don't use in Retailers Against Crime. We call it retail crime. Shoplifting has always been perceived as petty. And to be fair, when we're looking at it at this moment in time, it's not. This is causing so many different problems, and at the end of the day, what it does is it funds serious and organised crime. So what we've got to be mindful of, we're not asking the government to act on a petty crime. We're asking the government to act on the root of the problem. And then obviously...
What do you think the root of the problem is?
The root of the problem is shoplifting, because it funds serious and organised crime. So what we've got to do is take it more seriously. We've got to educate on it. We've got to, we can't arrest our way out of this problem either, because as we know, there is already, the jails are basically full, we know that already with different news stories that have came out. But, there's different ways in which we can help. Rehabilitation programmes as well for offenders, and also giving the police a lot more resources than what they do have. We also need to look at the judicial system as well, because I believe that there needs to be a lot more consequences for this particular crime, really.
Yeah. OK, Stephanie, thank you very much indeed. That's Stephanie Karte there, who's National Operations Manager at Retailers Against Crime.